Jordan Peterson went on the Joe Rogan Experience, the powerful JRE, to talk about the Joker.
I just watched Joaquin Phoenix in Joker, and he's a very charismatic actor. And I was thinking, oh God, because he carried that whole movie on single-handedly. It's a dark, dark movie, and it has to do with resentment. This man who was forced to be nice by his mother, who turns out to be absolutely crazy and abused him like mad when he was a kid.
I love the idea of Jordan Peterson sitting down to watch the Joker and just bawling, just crying tears, seeing himself in the imagery of Joaquin Phoenix's performance in the Joker. Now, since the Joker's come out, I think most people can agree, it's a pretty good movie. And also, holy shit, is the reception to that movie cringe? Oh boy, lots of people. The Joker moment is very popular now. Jordan Peterson apparently, he was in a coma. He was in the benzo coma during a lot of the memeage for that, and so he's very seriously just now watching these things from Joaquin Phoenix, which is not the way you say his name, but that's okay.
And then he becomes this role model for the dissemination of complete catastrophe into the entire society. It's a story of Cain in part, but Phoenix really carries that, and part of the reason...
Cain from Cain and Abel? I don't think it was a Cain and Abel story at all. Like, not even a little bit.
That he does that is because he creates a compelling character who's sympathetic. Like, you can be sympathetic to him because he really did have a hard life, like really hard. But Phoenix...
He is wearing a tux, yes. Jordan Peterson was told that he was going to win the Joe Rogan Award for Best Jordan Peterson, and he came prepared. You dress for the job you want, okay? Like, dress for the job you want, chat. You could take a thing or two from Jordan Peterson, who wears this just around the house. God damn it, Ed Cortez redeemed. Say something nice. Okay, something nice about Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson. You know what's a good thing about Jordan Peterson? You know what's the thing about Jordan Peterson that I think everybody could appreciate a little bit? He's not afraid to cry. Okay, and I think guys that aren't afraid to cry are a little bit closer to reasonable than those that aren't. However, he has taken that to a whole new level and remained unreasonable. That's not nice, is it? I am glad that he can cry though. That's a good thing. I think it's a good quality in a man.
Is an extraordinarily charismatic person, partly because he's so he's masculine in his features and carved, but he's so graceful.
He's graceful.
Every single thing he does in the entire movie is a dance. Like, he's conscious of every single movement he makes. Every turn of his head is conscious. It's dance-like, and you can't take your eyes off it. And a lot of stellar performers had that ability.
What's happening here? What is he doing with this crab claw? Why is he... Does anyone know what the big claw is called on the crabs? Like, they have... Like, you know how some crabs had the little claw and then they got the big claw? The eye pinch? That's a lobster claw? I actually don't think it is a lobster claw. Snapping you up, dude. That's got a name. Jordan Peterson, good thing he hasn't completely fucked up society yet. Well, that's true. That's true. He hasn't fucked up the entirety of society. I don't know that he ever had that power. What's the big crab claw called? Is that called a thing? Fiddler crabs have dimorphic claws. It's not called anything? Fiddler crabs, they just have one big claw. All right, well, okay. It's not called anything? That seems sus. It's just called the pincer? I don't know about that.
Ability to integrate male performers had that ability to integrate that
major
feminine grace.
That's it? I feel like it should have a cool name.
Into their masculine character.
Into their masculine character. What if we turned it this way a little bit, chat? That's what I think. Maybe we turn it that way, just a touch. Well, Jordan Peterson is a special lad. I think, you know what I think would be the best content Jordan Peterson could possibly do is, like, almost assuredly it is movie reviews. Like, imagine incredibly sincere Jordan Peterson movie reviews. You know what I mean? Where he just sits down and he watches, like, Land Before Time, and he's just weeping as they try to get the Star Leaf. That'd be good shit. I'd watch that. I think Jordan Peterson just being like surprised when subtext occurs, and he's just like, you know, this is just like the Jesus allegory, and it's just like he's watching Man of Steel, and he thinks he's like the first guy to ever see that. Yeah. Oh, the tree stars? Yeah, the tree star, not the Star Leaf. You fool, Jake! You fool! Idiot! Stupid! Alright, I won't fuck up again, chat. Oh, how am I going to be the top lobster? Huh? How's that going to happen? It's not easy being green, that's true. Okay, we do have some more. We do have some more from the Joe Rogan Experience. All right, so very famously, I think our review of Jordan Peterson and his book, 12 Rules for Life, didn't get great reviews by Jordan Peterson's fans, or apparently Jordan Peterson, who blocked me on Twitter. Not a good book, but throughout the entire thing, there is a through line in Jordan Peterson's book where he quite literally just professes Christianity the entire time. It's not subtle. He just says it openly. Like, literally, I think the last chapter of his book, before his codas or whatever he does at the end, is live like Jesus, live biblically. It's not it's not ideal, but Jordan Peterson has had some realizations about the Bible, and he is going to talk to Joe Rogan about them. Let's see what they are.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
If categories dissolve, especially fundamental ones, the culture is dissolving because the culture is a structure of category. Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Right.
So, and in fact, culture is a structure of category that we all share.
Hi, Hildebeest.
So we see things the same way. Well, that's why we can talk. I mean, not exactly the same way, because then we'd have nothing to talk about. But roughly speaking, we have a bedrock of agreement. That's the Bible, by the way.
The Bible is our bedrock of structural agreement in society?
So I just walked through the Museum of the Bible in Washington. That was very cool. It's very cool.
I feel like Jordan Peterson... You know that phenomenon when you hear a word for the first time? Like calligraphy. You hear calligraphy and you're like, damn, I never heard that word. What's it mean? And you're like, oh, it's like a fancy writing or whatever. And you start hearing that word everywhere and you're like, damn, I guess this word's been around forever. You know what I mean? It's like Jordan Peterson does that with concepts. He learns a thing. He learned about the Bible and like symbology, and has just like never diverted from that opinion that he had when he was 15. It's like libertarians who read Ayn Rand in like high school, and they're like, shit, that's my identity now, and they never divert from it ever again. They never have a second thought about anything they've ever done. I think it's very fascinating that he sees biblical imagery in just fucking all facets of life, no matter what happens. And it's like, yeah, 3,000 years ago when that book was starting to be written, they sure did have very basic and open-ended stuff about humanity and human experience. And surprise, some of that still applies, like, insofar as, like, I recognize that symbology, like, yeah, there's only so many stories you can tell, man. Sky Come following 50 biddies. Christians can't agree on what the Bible says, JP. How the hell does society agree? Well, no. Listen, it's the bedrock of our society, okay?
Museum.
So the structure, that's what the Bible
that's what
provides.
I figured out. I just figured this out this week. So it was a cool thing to walk through, because it's chronological. They have one floor, which is the history of the Bible.
Sure.
But it's not exactly that. It's really what it is the history of the book. Now, in many ways, the first book was the Bible. I mean, literally, because at one point there was only one book. Like, as far as our Western culture is concerned, there was one book.
That's not true. That's not how the story goes. I think what Jordan Peterson is alluding to is literacy and not necessarily books. There were many, many more books than the Bible that existed for a period of history. There's a little period of history during the Dark Ages where you can track Western literacy to a handful of monks that were copying the Bible. But I mean, like, that's probably not the only people that could read. But that's like the only evidence we have of people that could read for a little bit in the Western world. It wasn't the only book. Definitely like the Gutenberg Bible, like the press and everything, is one of the first pressed books, for sure. Certainly the most popular book in Western civilization. The idea that it just was like the only book is, I mean, just wrong. That's just not correct. I don't know that do I have to do more than that? It's just not right. That isn't correct.
And for a while, literally, there was only one book.
No, not literally. Not literally. There was not literally one book.
And that book was the Bible. And then before it was the Bible, it was it was scrolls and it was writings on papyrus, but we were starting to aggregate written text together. And it went through all sorts of.
Well, he said Western, so I'm going to assume he doesn't mean Aztec and Mayan either. I mean, literally, if we only take into account the Western civilization that he's talking about, which I majored in for the record, no, he's just wrong. He's just straight up wrong. There were books about fucking all sorts of shit, like just a million things. And if we're going all the way to the Dark Ages, then definitely not. Even worse. It certainly wasn't even the first book. Gilgamesh was. Although, I mean, that wasn't a book when it came out, but definitely it was a tale and it was on tablets and shit like that. But I mean, like, what is a book? Does a book need to be made out of paper? Is a book not a book when it's digital? But even so, well, Hammurabi is not a book. The Code of Hammurabi is a set of laws, but nonetheless, yeah.
Technological transformations, and then it became
Bible
books that
isn't really
everybody
Western?
could buy.
No, but it is Western civilization in the way, because Western is relative to Europe, not America or whatever. Like, Europe is the west of that part of the world, so yeah.
Book everybody could buy, and the first one of those was the Bible.
Well,
and then it became.
He's not talking about the Vedas or anything.
All sorts of books that everybody could buy. But all those books, in some sense, emerged out of that underlying book. And that book itself,
really
the Bible
true.
isn't a book, it's a library.
The Bible, Jesus Christ, because it has lots of books. There were other books that informed the Bible. A lot of things that come to mind, of course, the Epic of Gilgamesh definitely came into play. Absolutely, the works of like Homer with the Iliad and the Odyssey. I mean, you have just like millions and millions of different written works that have made its way into the consciousness of the people that wrote the Bible at any stage of its writing. So, yeah. I mean, I guess you could call the Bible a compendium, not a library, in the same way I wouldn't call, like, all the the entire catalog of, say, like, The Walking Dead is a compendium and not just, like, a single book, even though it is contiguous, you know?
It's a collection of books. And
Talk
so
about the Gutenberg press. Well, I don't think
what
he
I figured out was
talking
partly
about Gutenberg.
because I was talking to my brother-in-law, Jim Keller, who's the world's greatest chip designer and has now designed a chip that's as powerful as the human brain, which is optimized for artificial intelligence learning, by the way. And so I talked to him about that. He said, "You heard of the internet?" I said, "Yeah, Jim, I've heard of the internet." He said, "This is way more revolutionary than that." So, in any case, we were talking about...
Why is he bringing that up?
About meaning in text, because we were talking about translation and the problem of understanding text. And Jim said, the meaning of words is coded in the relationship of the words to one another. And the postmodernists make that case, that all meaning is derived from the relationship between words. That's wrong.
Comrade Zombie, thanks for one to NB Gamer Jupiter. What is he talking about?
Because, well, what about rage? That's not words. And what about moving your hand? That's not words. So it's wrong, but part of it's right, because
Wait, what?
the meaning we derive from the verbal domain is encoded in the relationship between words. So
The Song of Ice
so
and
now
Fire is
then
my
you think,
favorite
well,
library.
let's think about the relationship between words. Well, some words
I've never heard someone like say postmodernists only think words, like words and their relation to one another is the only way we can organize like thought in life, and that's the only way we can describe things. Like what? Stone Corbel, thanks for the 12 months. That's 1 year. Hindu Vedas when hundreds or thousands of years older. Yeah, he said Western to avoid that. Yeah, he's just wrong about. I mean, even if you just include Western, he's just wrong.
words are dependent on other words. Some ideas are dependent on other ideas.
It's a meat salad.
The
Sarah
more
Fanning.
ideas
Meat
are
salad.
dependent on a given idea, the more fundamental that idea is. That's a definition of fundamental. So now imagine you have an aggregation of texts in a civilization. You say, which are the fundamental texts?
Okay.
And the answer is the texts upon which most other texts depend. And so you'd put Shakespeare way in there in English because so many texts are dependent on Shakespeare's literary revelations. And Milton would be in that category, and Dante would be in that category, at least in translation. Fundamental authors, part of the Western canon, not because of the arbitrary dictates of power, but because those texts influenced more other texts. And then you think about that as a hierarchy, okay, with the Bible at its base, which is certainly the case. Now imagine that's the...
You could make a case. I mean, obviously, the Bible played a major role in the development of Western culture because everyone was religious for a period of time. I mean, it's not really arguable, but I mean, the way he's arguing it is really dumb because he's saying the Bible is a fundamental text in regards to Western culture and how it developed. And then he goes, therefore, it is currently a fundamental text in how the Western culture ought to be like formed. And that's like wrong. It just is incorrect. It's like going backwards in the tech tree in a video game for no reason, right? It really actually doesn't make any sense. Like, yes, you can still say that the Bible from a literary standpoint had a lot to do with further literary endeavors in the Western world, I guess, but only due to its like pernicious like is pernicious the word I'm looking for? I don't think it is. Pernicious. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. I mean, it is pernicious, but that's not what. The stick-to-itiveness of how religion works. The maybe pervasiveness is the word I'm looking for, but more than that, it's like religion it sticks to people's bones, and it just happens to be a religious text. There's, I mean, like for instance, the Quran has a very similar arc in the non-Christian world, right? Like basically an entire wedge where like Europe is up here and we're doing stuff, and then everything below that is like, oh look, the Quran is happening. Now I know that the Bible is older, but it's only because like the Quran jumps off the Abrahamic religious too. Like the Old Testament is part of the belief system of those that follow the Quran. So it's the same thing. It's just a silly therefore in his brain. Like it doesn't really make sense to draw this conclusion.
The entire corpus of linguistic production, all things considered. Now, how do you understand that? Like, literally, how do you understand that? The answer is you sample it by reading and listening to stories and listening to people talk. You sample that whole domain. You build a low-resolution representation of that inside you, and then you listen and see through that. And so it isn't that the Bible is true. It's that the Bible is the precondition for the manifestation of truth.
Look at it go. The Bible isn't true. It's the precondition for the established. What do you say? Let's get the exact words.
For the manifestation of truth.
The precondition for the manifestation of truth. Now, he has done entire segments in his book, probably both books. I didn't read the second one as much. We ended up not really doing that, I guess. Maybe we'll do that on stream for you guys. He was talking about truth. His meaning of truth is very different from our meaning of truth. Oh yeah, we read the first one and we put it on YouTube. The entire review. Matt Dillahunty has called it the best review of Jordan Peterson's book available on the internet. We angered very, very high numbers of Jordan Peterson fans, including Jordan Peterson himself. So he thinks the Bible is the king of all truth and reason. Well, I can't remember exactly what Jordan Peterson's idea of truth is at this point because I have deleted him from my brain as far as the book review is concerned. But I do know that his version of truth includes things like he had a debate with who was that? Sam, not Sam Cedar, the atheist guy that does the was he a neuroscientist or something like that? Sam Harris, thank you. We don't like him. Jordan Peterson said basically that truth is that which helps you survive, and to which Sam Harris rightfully said, even though he's often wrong, Sam Harris rightfully said, so assume you found your lover, your wife, cheating on you, and the truth of that led you to self-harm in a way, or to Minecraft yourself. To which Jordan Peterson said he scrambled around and tried to figure out how something that is true that could lead him to self-harm, which doesn't help his survival, how that could possibly be it fit into his definition. So of course he failed, right? And he's just a fool. So that's just what happens when Jordan Peterson opens his fucking mouth. He certainly says a lot of stuff that dumb people think is smart,
which makes it way more true than just true. It's a whole different kind of true. And I think this is not only literally the case.
This reminds me of a D&D story that I promise won't bore you. It's true, but it's not just true. It's a different kind of true. You ever had a bad DM in Dungeons & Dragons? You don't have to know a thing about Dungeons & Dragons, but do know that the DM is in charge of rules arbitration. And the way that you communicate to your players when you're a dungeon master is very important. We had a player attack a creature, doesn't matter what it was or who the character was. She attacked the creature and put a smite into it, which means that it does radiant damage. It's basically holy energy as radiant damage. And the DM said one time, you do radiant damage, and it should work, but it's not the right kind of radiant damage. Or maybe, no. Rather, I'm sorry. It wasn't her putting damage onto something. It was her taking damage radiantly, and she's resistant to it, which means she takes half damage. And you would normally be resistant to this damage, but it is not the right kind of radiant damage. This is exactly the same thing. It's just a bullshit. It's just bullshit, and we no longer play in that campaign. It's just a bullshit thing to say. It just isn't true.
Factually, I think it can't be any other way. It's the only way we can solve the problem of perception.
What? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. It doesn't. It doesn't work. It's radiant damage, but not the right kind of radiant. Yeah. Dude, why not just say it's something different than it is? Just say something different than that. If you are a Jordan Peterson enjoyer, if you're a person that you watch Jordan Peterson's content and you think, God damn, what a smart guy. I gotta be honest with you. You don't strike me as the most credible individual. I don't think if you select Jordan Peterson as your harbinger of truth and smart people enjoyment, I just really don't think that you're a person that needs to be trusted on your value judgments of the thinkers of the world. You climate change types, just so I can get it. Don't fucking troll in my chat, god damn it. The cider. Yeah, the cider where he broke the world record for sleeplessness. That's true. That's probably true. Oops. Oopsies. I accidentally closed out the video. 1 second. Okay, let's talk about famously Jordan Peterson had a bout with are we calling it addiction or just abuse of benzos? He took a little bit too many benzos I'm looking for something on my desk. I can't find it. Whatever. He took too many benzos. Jordan Peterson did. And when you take too many benzos, sometimes you have to go to Russia and be put into a coma for some reason, okay? Emma Strange, thanks so much for the 16 months. And he's going to talk about that story now. Now, not a fan of making fun of anybody for substance abuse or whatever. You know, if anyone has a hard time with substance abuse to any extent, whether it's an addiction or maybe you come from a family of addicts. I come from a family of alcoholics. So I don't drink. This is one of those things. But nonetheless, I do think there is something to be said and something to be talked about when a man who has written words basically like she got drunk, so she was basically asking for it when she got sexually assaulted, which is an actual thing that he wrote about a patient of his in his book, 12 Rules for Life. I think when people are actually blaming others for their substance abuse, and then when they end up abusing a substance themselves and going through it, I do think there's something to be said for the hypocrisy and dumbassery of such an individual. So here's Jordan Peterson talking about his experience. So just remind yourselves that constantly this man has no empathy for you and your problems when it comes to any sort of substance abuse. He's a big fucking piece of shit hypocrite.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
What is it like to be you? Like, what is it like to, and then I know, you know, you've gone through a lot of shit. And this latest thing with getting off of the benzodiazepine, that to me was a real shocker. Because, first of all, I had no idea that you were taking it. And then to find out that it's that difficult to get off of, and then to hear from other people that have tried to get off of it how difficult it is. And then to realize how many people around me have an issue with that stuff.
By the way, benzodiazepine is basically like a like Valium. It's a depressant, so it treats like anxiety and some people take it for like seizures, stuff like that. Probably sleepless, like sleep problems. Sorry to hear that, Emma Strange. Yeah, you know, drug problems are a thing, and it's a sad and hard thing to deal with, and no one needs to be made fun of for specifically having an issue with addiction or abuse or even just like an accidental fuck up. It happens, right? But I do think if you're shitty to people that do these things and end up having drug problems, and then you yourself have one, yikes, bud, and learned nothing from the experience.
Xanax is a motherfucker. And I didn't know what a motherfucker it was until I talked to a friend who is a counselor at a drug rehab center, where he was saying that is one of the ways that people get locked back into drinking and doing drugs, is a psychiatrist will prescribe Xanax. And sober people who get on Xanax all of a sudden start drinking. He said it's super common. He said that it's one of the most difficult drugs to get off of. He said, and this is something that Dr. Carl Hart, who's I love him to death. He's brilliant.
Do you have the link to that? No spoilers is the best bit of the interview. Yeah, I'll watch that in a second. Wait, I don't want to watch someone else's stream for it though. Do you have a clip of just that part of it?
He speaks so openly and honestly about drugs, and you know, the guy's a professor at Columbia.
I would love to hear Jordan Peterson come out on the other end of this and say that and have compassion for other people. Let's see what happens.
He said that there's two drugs that will kill you when you get off of them. He goes, it's alcohol and benzodiazepine. Those are the two that if you just quit, you'll fucking die.
Or you wish you would.
Meanwhile, they're handing those things out like Tic Tacs.
Yeah. Well, they were regarded as a safe substitute for barbiturates. And you could easily overdose on barbiturates, especially with alcohol.
Well, when did they know? When was it in the literature, the difficulty of detoxing yourself from these?
Very recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And when did they start being handed out?
20 years ago.
Fuck.
More.
So what happened? People just stayed on them?
Often.
I have one good friend that takes it every day and takes it oftentimes with alcohol, which I know you're absolutely not supposed to do. There's not a damn thing I can do about it. This is a friend that I love to death, and I put my hands up and I go, there's nothing I can do. and he's been on it for more than 10 years.
Yeah, well, I started taking them because I was ill,
Yeah.
and they helped because I
Ill
couldn't
in-
sleep. I
ill in
couldn't
what
sleep
way?
at all. I don't know.
So far, this conversation's fine.
I don't know. I still really don't know what happened
You
to
couldn't
me.
sleep, and so an anti-anxiety medication. Do you think that this is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. This is why I brought up the fame thing. How much of the pressure of being attacked by all these different people and having these
Attacked by these people, god damn it! Now it's everybody else's fault. I'm a pharmacy technician. Benzos are carefully controlled to prevent this sort of thing from happening. Yes, some medical providers don't care, but most healthcare workers try to protect patients. Thanks, Guy Comment. Didn't Jordan kind of make fun of his friend in his book for smoking weed? Oh, yeah. Not only did he blame an alcoholic patient of his for her own assault, because he said that she was basically asking for it by drinking and being at a bar alone as a woman in general, because Jordan Peterson's dog shit. But also, there was a friend he had that was in need and basically just smoked weed and just was experiencing some poverty and hard times, and he basically just talked shit about him for an entire chapter because he smoked some weed in like the 90s. It was fucking bad.
people write these horrible articles about you, and I know you read that stuff, which is different from me. I don't read stuff about me, and I think that's helped me tremendously. And that, like, my gauge of how I deal with people is, like I said,
Tucker Carlson doesn't read
eye to
things
eye.
about him either.
You could tell. You can tell by the way he
Tucker
communicates.
Carlson, huh?
He seems free. You know, there's a burden.
Tucker Carlson seems free. Talking glowingly of Tucker Carlson is a phenomenon I will never understand. Like, imagine thinking Tucker Carlson seems like a guy that is free from the bonds of the criticism that is lobbied towards him. Like, what the fuck? Don't you think? Do you not? Okay, these are the free speech guys, right? Aren't these the free speech fellas? Am I nuts in saying that maybe it would behoove them to embrace criticism to some extent? If in fact that is what they stand for, is free speech and the understanding and light is the best disinfectant. Like, what about shining the light on your dumbassery? Do we not get to? You're just not right about some stuff. Yeah, Tucker wants to fuck the green M&M. I don't know if we can trust this guy. It's obviously the peanut M&M that's most fuckable.
That people carry around with.
Which M&M is the most fuckable in your opinion?
Oh God, the brown
You're
one?
on
I know.
the brown one.
Yeah.
The brown M&M?
Yeah.
What the fuck is a brown? Does anyone even know what the brown M&M?
Yeah.
Brown M&M character. All right, let's see. Okay, she's kind of a mommy.
She's got like mommy energy.
Honestly, though, wait. I didn't know this was
She
gonna.
was, like,
I didn't know you were gonna convert me.
stockings, like.
Yeah, I did not realize that I was gonna be converted live on the internet. Okay. Well, there it is.
Yeah, she's.
Well, there it is, isn't it? Good God, I got a little hankering for chocolate now.
Oh fuck off.
Oh shit. Yeah, you're right. I didn't know the brown M&M existed.
Really?
I don't pay attention to this shit. They're trying to sell me M&Ms. I don't give a fuck.
Let her dump me.
Wait, are you gonna come here?
Why?
What do you mean? I asked for two
Oh,
things.
because it's smooth.
I would like one, please. All right, everybody look away. They're fine. They're not looking.
Yeah, they're
They're
not
not
looking. Not looking at all.
Ooh. Hey, well, look, I didn't know we were gonna. I'd bring up the brown M&M a little more often if that was how the reaction.
No.
Master, thanks so much for the 10 months.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like some sort of. Are brown M&Ms an aphrodisiac, Chad?
No.
That got a little hot and heavy there for a
I
second.
swear to fucking God. I'm
Sheesh.
never touching you if we mention brown M&Ms again.
Okay.
There
well,
you go.
That's reasonable. That makes sense. I accidentally left this here when I was high. Will you throw that out? Anyway, I can't throw it in my thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
And this one. They're both from the same event.
The
same exact instant. I grabbed them both, and I was like, I'm gonna. And no, just. It was bad.
Also,
bad state of
by the
affairs.
way, I took 5 milligrams, and I was like, this isn't kicking in. Like.
And then you
this-
took another,
this
and then it kicked
isn't-
in, and now
I was
you.
like, I should take a second one.
You ever get on a roller coaster and then you find out the roller coaster you got on is actually gonna put you on a second roller coaster? Because that's what's gonna happen. You climbed to the top and you went, what? No, another one. Now we're climbing up even higher. That's what happens when you double that up. You have to be a little bit more cognizant next time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, thanks again for the 10 months, Master. Appreciate it. Let's continue on with the Joe Rogan and the good old Jordan Peterson talking about benzos and drugs.
When they read
And
things
Tucker Carlson.
about themselves, like Eric Weinstein has that burden sometimes. You know, when people read.
Yeah, well, part of the reason. So, did I read things about me? Well, yeah, but that wasn't what was stressful exactly. Although it was.
It's
what
a
was
multitude
stressful
of things.
when I first got, I've had a history of depression, and that runs in my family, and that's probably stems back for me right to the time when I was a kid, and I think when I really got sick in 2016, it was partly a manifestation of that. But at the time, my job was threatened, like actually.
Right.
He just resigned from his job for being a bitch, by the way. Did you know? Yeah, did you guys know that? Jordan Peterson resigned from his job at the college because he's a little bitch. He wrote in his resignation letter, "Sorry, I'm a little bitch and can't take criticism, so I'm stepping down." That's true.
Yeah.
And my clinical practice was threatened, and the Canadian Revenue Agency was after me all at the same time. And they were after me because of a mistake they had made, which they admitted 3 months later. And the college was after me because of a vindictive client who came after me with a pack of lies, but because they were so... And basically
Okay, a vindictive client that was full of a pack of lies. Look, I don't know what accusations were levied at Jordan Peterson, but again, this man wrote in his book to the world about a patient, didn't name her, but I mean, like, explained her entire case in detail, said what job she worked in, where she lived, and was like, yeah, she got sexually assaulted at a bar multiple times, and it's her fault. He said that. Jesus. It's crazy. It's craziness. Hey, Pixel, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Welcome, Pixelers. What is your community called, actually? Welcome. Listening to the news. Hearing Pix read in the news voice. Welcome. We're here of our own free will.
Her ramble was just a gorilla.
Look, I'm not gonna tell you who to hang out with, okay? But I will say that Pix has made good decisions multiple times in regards to me. She once abdicated a seat to tell everyone that I should be the winner of such a thing. Hope your stream was good. Hope everything was fun, man. Speedy Yoshi, thanks for the 50 biddies. According to Eminem's wiki, I don't know why this matters, Miss Brown was introduced in 2012. Her likes are power and her dislikes are the color red. Wow, we're learning a lot.
Her ramble
With enough pixels, you get a screen. That's actually true. Is that what it's called? Are you guys a screen? Is it like a flock of crows is a murder? Many Pixel fans are a screen. Ford, Michael, and Ginny Tonic. Thanks for following, dude. Appreciate it. We're not a cult. Hey, we are, though. We are a cult. Seem like a person that would like Sacha Baron Cohen's work. It's not bad, yeah. If you don't know who I am, I'm Actual Jake. We do leftist politics. We hang out. It's very casual here. I'm in a corn suit right now because and you may have seen me in a corn suit in the past because the chat has purchased such a thing. We do a hype train, and if the hype train reaches certain levels, they get different benefits, and the corn suit is one of those things. Yeah, so if you ain't corn, use a wheat. That's true. That's actually true. So welcome to the stream. We're having fun. We're going to watch some more Joe Rogan Experience and Jordan Peterson. They're talking about Jordan's experience with benzodiazepine and his addiction to them for a little bit, which is basically like Xanax and stuff. So, yeah. Welcome. We have lots of fun here, too.
From that unscathed, but that was by no means obvious that was going to be the case. I was accused.
Hey, and hit that follow button if you feel like you're going to enjoy your time here. And if not, if you want to reserve judgment, I get it, okay? I do get it. I understand. All right? But I think honestly, the best thing you could do is press the follow button, frankly. Just saying. Rossi Jordan's now more meat stick than human. He is definitely a meat man. Signal Oscar, thanks for following, dude. You are the one person to follow. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, always looming is Jordan Peterson.
Her amble was
He will be
just a
looming
gorilla.
here until we hit the very top of Twitch's subscription numbers. I will not be the number one lobster, so he will loom and judge us poorly. He watches and waits. That's true.
Accused of sexual misconduct. And the evidence? When I was dealing with this client, I would turn my wedding ring around.
You'd spin it?
Well, I play with it.
Right. And that
Well,
was
to-
sexual
Free burritos
misconduct?
for days. Thanks for
Yeah, well, to her, it was
Sounds
a signal
delicious.
of some dark underlying desire that I wasn't, that was
Neuro,
polluting
thanks for-
our therapeutic relationship.
I've been doing
Okay, if that's true, that actually is stupid, though. Let's just say that. If someone spins their wedding ring, it doesn't mean they want to pork you. Plus, Jordan would be closer. He's more of a beef guy anyway.
that with you the whole conversation.
Yeah.
I have this silicone wedding ring.
Yeah, well,
I'd
I'm going to
always
report. I'd report
stick
you
my
if you had.
finger in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I do that all the
Yes,
time.
well,
Is
there
that
you go.
bad?
It's really bad, and
Bill Maher is rich, and you can't trust rich liberals to stay left leaning when their I guess status in the society is put into question so far as like classism is concerned. So yeah, he is one of the center left that really wants to maintain his station, and he's big mad that he can't be edgy and just kind of an asshole to everybody. So,
if there
but that's interesting, Brooke. I'm glad you brought that up. Jordan Peterson is like, it's ridiculous that someone would think if I spun my wedding ring that means I am sexually interested in them, which is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. But he also, in comparison, ridiculously thinks that any woman who wears makeup in his presence is trying to bed him or other biological males.
was a college that governed the behavior of reprobates like you, I would definitely report. No, don't do that. That's terrible,
I
Joe.
stretch it out.
No, that's it's Freudian to the extreme. Although I don't know what turning it means.
How could stretching a silicone wedding band be Freudian?
Well, you're putting your finger in the little hole. that
Rubber.
You're making.
Fuck kind of
Yeah,
vaginas
well,
you're dealing with.
Rubber is, that's got. Anyways, we don't have to
Anyway,
go there.
so
Yeah.
that was all.
I appreciate Joe Rogan saying, "What the fuck kind of vaginas are you dealing with?" That's the right response there when Jordan Peterson says anything. He's trying to crack a joke about how rings are Freudian. Joe Rogan doesn't know how vaginas are. Well, yeah, but I mean, it also doesn't look like a
Her amble was
fucking
just a
finger ring.
gorilla.
Sensible Pete, thanks for following. That's actually a funny joke, Joe. You did it.
All you had done was play with your wedding ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that.
And I really helped her.
I feel like Jordan Peterson's fucking lying by this, right? I feel like Jordan Peterson did not simply rotate his wedding ring, and then someone was like, "That's sexually charged stuff here, Professor."
a lot. Like,
Well, so
So-
unfortunately, when you're dealing with people that are extremely troubled, oftentimes they look for external reasons why they're troubled, and they find oppressors.
well,
and
she
they
was also
find-
angry with me because when all this blew up around me, it interfered with my clinical practice, and she had come to rely on our weekly meetings.
Oh,
and
you
so
had to disrupt them.
she was angry about being abandoned, and it was really sad because I didn't want to abandon my clients, but I had to stop my clinical practice, which was also very upsetting to me because I had like 20 clients, and I knew
Right.
these people, man. Like they were,
Right.
I knew these people.
Yeah.
It's interesting though that how he talks about it. It doesn't. I don't know. Like, I went to school for teaching for a while, and the way I talk about, or other people who are, I guess, educators or even healthcare professionals or whatever, anyone that's sort of relied upon by other people. I mean, it's the way he talks about it doesn't seem genuine. I guess that's just me, like sort of reading into shit, I suppose. But every time he talks about this stuff, I guess I just don't believe he does give a shit about these people. I know he says he does, but he writes terrible things. I mean, he's literally putting this patient on blast who knows that she's being talked about right now, right? Like, and you could probably look up that case and figure out who he's talking about here, because he's like openly just saying, "Oh, it was this. You know what I mean? Ugh, just gross. Gross to me.
Followed them through thick and thin. And then all of a sudden, so many things piled up around me that I found when I was in a clinical session that I was distracted.
So
Well, you can't be distracted in a clinical session.
right.
And so, anyways, what emerged from that, and it was in the middle of the winter, and I have seasonal affective disorder, I couldn't sleep and at all for quite a long time. And I
I
went to
thought that was the apple cider shit.
my doctor and I said, I can't sleep. And he gave me a sleeping medication and an anti-anxiety drug. And I took a
You
little
see
bit
the
of the
Muppet
anti-anxiety
for-
drug and I could sleep. And my life was pretty stressful. And I thought, okay, I'm much better. I'm just going to leave this be. This is working. I'm not going to muck with it because I could barely go back to work.
And what was it? A low dose
Yeah. I couldn't even
of
feel it.
Xanax? Really?
Yeah, it was a low dose.
So it alleviated the anxiety, but it didn't affect your cognitive performance, or it didn't affect the way.
Well, it didn't affect it as much as how sick I was. Like that really affected it.
So sick meaning
Oh,
depressed.
No,
even
no,
when
no,
you say
no,
you're
it was-
sick.
No. When it hit,
Think he's a big Chuck
I-
Palahniuk fan?
if I stood up,
don't think
my
so.
blood pressure was really low. If I stood up, I'd faint. I was fainting
When-
5 or
when-
6 times a day.
When are we talking about here?
2016.
Okay, so this was when all the pressure from all these different sources was coming at you,
Yeah.
and that was making you sick.
Weird how fear and
So it's
hate are
changed
No,
physically.
yeah,
this
that
is
was part of
interesting.
it. I think what it did was it stressed me enough so that I was more susceptible to whatever was wrong with me in the first place.
So there
'Cause
was
I've had a
something-
lot of immunological problems.
How long did it take you to
This would
recover from the benzos?
Well, when I finally 2 years, and I haven't fully recovered, but
You
but
haven't
also
fully
I was
recovered?
also sick. No, my left hand is quite numb, and was way more numb. Both hands and my feet were like completely numb,
Huh.
and I was in like excruciating pain.
Okay. You ever talk to somebody who always talks about their injuries or ailments? All the time. And they sort of make shit up. I don't know that this is the case, but the vibe I am getting off of this guy certainly seems like that personality, where it's just like, yeah, I have so many hardships, and I just want to tell you about them all the time, and just constantly, dude. He's always got some kind of, yeah, it feels like hypochondria. I don't know if that's true, but like, it just feels like it. Whether he's being honest or not, it just comes across as disingenuous. Specifically the way he talks about it, like he looks away from who he's talking to, and he looks down at, like, I don't know, man.
For 2 years, like pain at levels that I didn't even know was possible.
All the time.
So he's experienced sleeplessness at a world record rate, and he's experienced more pain than he could have ever fathomed a human body could sustain. Wow, man. Wow, what a hard life. Oh, you think maybe he exaggerates? What could lead you to think such a thing? Maybe he exaggerates a bit. Hi, crab babes.
Time or
No,
on occasion?
No, this is one of the things that was terrible about it, is that it was really, really bad in the morning.
And what did it start right after you got off of the Xanax?
No, but it got way worse.
So it just started showing up eventually,
Yeah.
and then
It started to get worse about the same time that Tammy went into the hospital, but because she was fighting her way through, catastrophic cancer at the same time when this started to happen.
So this was additional stress,
Yes.
and that
but,
heightened everything.
well, it certainly didn't help.
Right.
I think it made me more susceptible to something that was already happening. So whatever this illness that's plagued my family, my father, my grandfather, multiple cousins, and a lot of immunological problems on my mother's side too. I had a cousin whose daughter died of immunological problems, the same ones that Michaela had.
And this is all mitigated somehow or another by this only eating meat diet?
I don't know. It certainly is for
For
Michaela.
you. And for you as well?
I don't know that for sure. I know what the diet has done.
I'm glad they talked about the meat diet. And then he was like, I don't know. Like, immediately, does it work for you? I'm not sure. Fuck, man. I'm not sure, but I've eaten nothing but beef, and I've had all these health problems for years. I have no clue. Could it be the scurvy? I think maybe, like, let's see, what are the symptoms of scurvy? I think Jordan Peterson might have land scurvy. Let's find out. Do people still get scurvy? Huh, interesting. Signs and symptoms. Early symptoms are malaise and lethargy. After 1 to 3 months, patients develop shortness of breath and bone pain. Oh, pain. Myalgias may occur because of reduced carnitine. Oh, myalgias, you say? A medical term for muscle pain. Interesting. Other symptoms include skin changes with roughness, easy bruising, petechia, oh, I guess that's like a foot thing, gum disease, loosening of teeth, poor wound healing, emotional changes, dry mouth, oh boy, jaundice, edema, which could be this terrible affliction, olguria, output of urine, specifically more than 80 milliliters a day, but less than 400 milliliters, so a lot of it. Neuropathy, shortened to neuropathy, is a general term describing disease affecting peripheral nerves, meaning nerves beyond the brain and spinal cord. Damage to peripheral nerves may impair sensation. Oh, his hands were numb. Weird. Movement, gland, or organ function, depending. Wow. Fever, convulsions, eventual death, are all frequently seen. Does Jordan Peterson simply have land scurvy because he eats nothing but meat and salt? Huh. It might be that. It might just be it. Oh, Christ, dude. Why are they like this? Like, why do such a thing? He genuinely just has scurvy. I was joking, but maybe we got to the bottom of it, dude. I think we got to the bottom of it. I think Jordan Peterson just straight up has scurvy. Suck on a lemon, Jordan. Suck a lemon. That's doctor's orders. Doctor's orders, bro. Suckle a lemon. Fuck. Anyway, we have one more clip from the Joe Rogan Experience with this discussion with Jordan Peterson. And that clip is a pretty famous one that went around on Twitter quite a bit. And this is Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson describing who is or is not black. I'm sure many of you have seen this. If not, prepare your butts, dude. Prepare your whole butt. This is wackadoo. This is the craziest shit that they said. I'm not surprised I didn't clip it for the YouTube channel.
Depending on who you ask, either you're a voice of reason and rationality and personal responsibility, or you're a voice of intolerance and bigotry and anger and hateful
sexual oppression.
What did Michael
prejudice,
Eric Dyson call you? A mean angry white man.
And a mean angry white man. Yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah.
You're not mean at all.
Yeah.
That's what's dumb about that statement. Is you're not mean at all. It's
I am white. Actually, that's a lie too. I'm kind of tan, and he was actually not black.
You're tan,
he was.
Jesus fucking Christ. So Michael Eric Dyson, a Detroiter, is an academic author, ordained minister, and radio host. Is a black fella. And now Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson are going to do a whole like minute or so, a whole minute or so on the concept, the very white guy concept of, well, it's not actually black because, you know, it's brown actually, because black is real dark. Black is like this color, but I'm actually a little tan, as you can see. I'm not actually just a white like my shirt here because I have to be a pedantic loser. So the terms like black and white.
Her ramble was just a gorilla.
Thanks, Paulie, for following. The terms black and white, I think most people know. Maybe you don't have the words for it necessarily, but you know those are different than the actual colors. Black and white. Black and white are like political, social titles that we give to people. They'll even talk about African American and African all that shit in a second here, but like it goes without saying, I think, especially as Americans, the concept of who is black and who is white is an important one. Not because we need to maintain it, but we need to be able to identify it to maybe, hopefully, eventually down the line, lose that distinction and lose that the way that we other people there. Though it will be unlikely to occur in our lifetimes. But he didn't explain why he wore the tux. No, the tux is, I think, just at least I haven't heard an explanation. Maybe he did on the larger podcast, but I think it's just because he wants to look dapper or something, I guess. I don't know.
Fuck
brown.
am I? Because I'm darker than you.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but neither of us are white.
Well, I'm Italian.
And he was
mostly.
brown, not black.
Well, isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's
Italian. Fuck yeah, dude. Hey, can we get some Italian rights in chat? I didn't know we were gonna have some Italian like representation in here today. It's about time, frankly. I think it's about goddamn time we've gotten a little bit of Italian rep here. Someone tried to Italian hands in here. I don't think I have BTTV on there for that, but I would love to see him. I'll have to enable that shit. I'm very happy though. That's a good thing. Italics, true.
really
the
weird.
black and white thing is so strange
Yeah,
because
it's like
the shades are so
tan and brown.
there's such a spectrum
Joe Rogan's about to say the dumbest shit.
of shades of people. Unless you're talking to someone who is like 100% African from the darkest place where they're not wearing any clothes all day and they've developed all that melanin to protect themselves from the sun. You know, even the term black is weird. And when you use it for people that are literally my color, it becomes very strange.
You didn't. Nah, that didn't have to happen. It really didn't have to occur like that, Joe. Yeah, you could have not. Oh boy. I don't even know what possesses Joe sometimes to just say dumbass shit like that. How should we describe people? Get the fucking Photoshop values for each and every individual person? Yes. Let's see what my Photoshop values are, chat, in this lighting specifically. Here, we'll grab a little. Wait, hold on. I have to look forward while I do this, don't I? There. Let's see what our values are. So that's Joe Rogan talking about that. Let's see if are we black according to Joe Rogan? I don't think we're going to be. No. Wait. No. Just let me put a title on this thing. Key smash it. There we go. Okay. There we are. Look at him. What a guy. All right, now how do you actually look at the like colors of stuff? Chat. It's like a selector tool somewhere in here, right? Eyedropper maybe? Like eyedropper right in the middle. How do we look at this? Press I then click. Yeah. Then click the color. Then go to the color. Oh, here's my value, chat. We're a little red. I'm a D77163, chat. Sheesh. Wow. Well, chat, looks like as a D77163, I think it's time for me to be recognized. Because I don't know about you, but that ain't white. Look at that. That's 215 not whites. Wow. That was we've learned a lot here from Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. Damn, dude. Thank you. Thank you. Finally. Finally, I'll be seen for who I really am. They call me Red. Do they call you Red? Oh, it's probably a racial slur, isn't it? I was like, who calls people red? Oh, racist. That's right. I forgot. It's just the lighting in here right now. Again, if I turn my ring light on, this is just going to look like shit for a second. Look, it just washes the screen. It just washes everything. I wish it wouldn't. God, it just, like, why does it do that? It doesn't have to. Nonetheless, we'll turn it off. Turn it off a little bit. It does. It looks so bad every time. Now it's white. Hell yeah. You know who isn't white? The only black person in this house, okay? According to Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, is Ellie. Ellie. You're like Vanta Black. You're like laboratory, made in a lab black. You guys want some purrs? No, we got a purr. Baby kitty. High definition baby purrs. All right, there's a 00000. That's right. Void ham. Annie! Get your whiskers out of my mouth, dog. Her dandruff is like shimmering stars in a black night sky. You're damn right. What a kitty. What a baby kitty. If you have your subscription, you could pop Ellie's in chat. Big ol' Ellie's in chat. Oh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She likes it a little rough, chat. A little rough. Thank you for booping chat, Ellie. Whoop. And just stepping all over my desk. Okay. All right. You gonna come back? Okay. You're just gonna knock stuff over. You wanna get down? I can let you down. Here. I let you down. I let you down. Oh goodness, you're heavy. Holy shit. Well, I didn't want to cuddle more. Oh, are we doing that still? I was just gonna end this kitty snuggle. Okay. One of the kittens I'm fostering currently is more interested now. Hell yeah. Oh, I was just gonna. Oh, there we go. Hell yeah. All right, unlatched, and just set free. Set her free to roam the studio. There's a whole cat tree over there. You have a bed. You have a bed on the ground you could visit? Think of all the places you could go, the things you could snuggle. Okay, watch your pizza, Ellie. I'm going to roll. All right, good? Where'd you go? Where the hell is she? There she is. It's hard to track her. She's very stealthy for a tremendous lump. What a tremendous lump, Ellie. All right. We got more of the good stuff, chat.